Hey everybody, John with BGR, talking to you today about Credova financing. Uh, there are some things that I feel like you need to know before you go ahead and sign your name on the bottom of that contract. So I want to go over those with you real quick because they kind of caught me off guard, and everything worked out fine for me. I was able to get things paid in a timely manner, but before you just go ahead and apply for the maximum amount that you're allowed to get, which is not a smart idea if you don't have the money. I'm going to tell you why. So for me, I went through budsgunshop.com, purchased a couple firearms. At the time that I purchased them, I didn't just have the cash. I knew I would have it, but I didn't have the cash on me right away. So I decided to use the Credova financing option, seeing as how it was 90 days, same as cash, zero down. So I was able to make the purchases and then pay at a later date, as long as it was within that 90-day time frame. That way, I didn't have to worry about any interest being tacked on. But I did find out something interesting as I went through my contract. This is the contract here. Obviously, my personal info is not visible to you guys. Uh, it was a lease, basically. The items I purchased, I purchased two firearms. This applies to anything, by the way. It doesn't have to be guns. It could be puppies. It could be a lot of different companies use Credova financing, so uh, it could be anything. But uh, the first line says you do not understand, or you understand that you do not own the products you're leasing unless you buy the product through an early buyout option, which is what I was doing. So basically you're leasing the items, they're not yours. You gotta get through the lease before um you own the items. So in my situation, they wanted I was leasing 14 13.99, and they wanted 24 monthly lease payments of 137.39. So 137.39 every month. At the end of the contract, I have to pay $212 to own the items. Um, so as you can see on the bottom line there, the bottom highlighted line, the total amount you will have paid by the end of the lease at full term is $3,297.36. Okay, so right here, the total value of the products are $14 13.99, but if you were to take this to term, that's the amount that you would have to pay. Now, we all know how interest works. It's always better to pay things off early. It'll save you a lot of money in the long run, but that's not the case with them. So, the fine print that I was talking about, as you scroll down through the contract here, you have your early purchase options. So, if unsatisfied with our service for any reason, if you desire to obtain full ownership of the leased product within the first 90 days of the lease term, you have to contact them before a specific date where you get to pay your 90 days no interest, your 90 days same as cash option. So my 90 days same as cash option was $14 13.99. Basically, it's just the value of the items that I was purchasing. Um, uh, and that would allow me to pay that amount and not have to pay the full over $3,000 for the amount. But here's where it comes into, it gets kind of weird. Uh, at on this date, which would have been May 2nd, 2020, if I had not paid that 90-day or that 90-day same as cash, I wouldn't have paid the full $14 13.99. Scroll down right here. I would have had to pay uh, the full lease term, $32.97. I would have had no way of getting out of that. So you don't pay if you don't have it paid off within the 90-day period. You will literally owe the entire lease term. You cannot get out of the lease contract. And let's say you wanted to cancel the contract, you wanted to terminate the contract, you still owe 75% of the contract. Okay, so what I'm getting at is, if you're going to do this, pay it off within the first 90 days. If there's an early payout option, pay it off within the first 90 days. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck paying on it for 2 years. for twice as much as it's worth. In this case, a little bit more than that, and that's just not a good deal. So read your contract thoroughly. I know they have different financing options for everybody, but for me, this is the option that was given to me. And going through the internet, I'm realizing that I'm not the only one. Luckily, I was in a position where I was able to get my stuff paid off within 90 days. So if it's an option, maybe you don't have cash to purchase whatever you're going to purchase at that particular time, but you know you're going to have it within a 3 month period. Then yeah, do it. Just don't mess around. Um, make sure you read all your fine print. You contact them. You can't contact them at 90 days. You got to contact them 2 days prior to your 90-day option. If you don't, you're going to be stuck paying on it. You're not going to be. It's not going to be paid off in time, and you're going to be stuck paying on it for 2 years. So it's just something to think about. Um, the rest of the contract's pretty self-explanatory, but that's just one thing that I didn't uh, know right offhand. If you don't pay it off within the first 90 days, you're stuck paying on it for 2 years. If you do decide to terminate it early, you still owe 75% of the balance, um, and that's it. Also, last note, they will put this balance on your credit report. So the balance of 32.97 was put on my credit report when I asked them about it. Like, hey, I'm planning on paying this thing off within 90 days, but you have put this full 32.97.36 on my credit report as an open account. I was told by them as soon as you pay it off within the first 90 days, they take that off your credit report. But do want you to know that they will put that full amount on your credit report. So just make sure you get things paid off within that 90-day period, or you're pretty much screwed. They're gonna more or less rip you off. So I hope that helps. Gives you some clarification on Credova financing. Is this something I would ever do again? Absolutely not. Um, it's a lot of stress because you just never know what's going to happen. I started this contract and then the coronavirus hit, so I was a little worried, but I was able to get it paid off, and all is good now. But just keep that in mind before you go and click OK on their financing, because if you're not prepared, uh, they'll get you. So again, this is John with BGR. I appreciate you guys for stopping. Thank you.